Good morning, YouTube. I hope y'all are doing great. I just realized it's been a while since I made a video about my Freightliner Coronado. It's been probably 2.5 years since I got it. I believe it was January 2020 is when I purchased it. It is now the end of October 2022. So yeah, it's been about 2.5 years. I wanted to make a video showing what I like about it, what I don't like about it, just like I did in the first one, and kind of go through what I've changed around on it and what I've done to it and what kind of problems I've had out of it. But overall, it hasn't been a bad truck, but we'll get right down to it. And I'm gonna start on the outside, just show you around that, and then we'll move to the inside and I'll show you what I've changed in there. And like I said, some of the stuff I don't like, which it seems kind of petty, but at the same time, when you're spending, I think I spent $160 on the truck, $162, something like that. And if it's not right, then, you know, it's kind of hurts you a little bit. And, but I've got a lot of the stuff fixed that I had problems with, but let's go ahead and show you the outside. So like I said, when I bought it, I went ahead and paid extra to have the bottom painted red, just to go with my, the company I was pulling for, they had a lot of red lettering and I wanted it to match. I went ahead and got the Herd bumper installed, and I believe this is the Defender series, which I really like it. Obviously it needs polished right now. I haven't done much polishing on my truck, but I hit a deer with it at about 60 miles an hour, and I had just got this license plate, so the license plate got bent up a little bit, as you can see right there, but there's not a single dent or scratch or anything on there, you know, except for if you run out west a lot, they use like little pea gravel, stuff like that for winter roads, and you can tell this one's been through some rough winters, but I plan on getting that fixed. So some of the stuff I don't like about it is the paint job. I've had it painted 2 or 3 times, and these rock chips are just tearing up the paint. But I feel like I'm going to stop running the Northwest, so that shouldn't be a problem. Then I'll just have it repainted one more time, because like I said, it's been painted twice before, and you know, it just keeps getting chipped a little bit. Obviously at 10 feet away you can't really see it, so it still looks good. I'm also wanting to go with a different stack. I like this look, you know, the stainless, but at the same time I feel like a nice 7-inch stack all the way down will look pretty cool. Also, something else I don't like about the truck, all this chrome plating just picks right off. And I know they make aftermarket stainless, which is probably what I'm gonna go with, but yeah, that doesn't look good. Just little nitpicking things. Other than that, the outside looks good. Like I said, I haven't polished this truck in a while. I have been polishing other people's trucks. The reflectors on the back, as you can tell, one is vertical and one's horizontal. It's because the opposite one has fell off. You know, they're supposed to be like the little L shape or upside down L's. I'll probably replace those with some DOT tape, just because I don't want to deal with them falling off again. Seems like they could have been a better design for that. And obviously, like on all trucks, this spring and the hoses, the airlines hit the paint, so you've got this little wear mark right there. I'm thinking about getting a little light plate right there with the pogo stick, and hang my lights right there, or my lines right there. But obviously, as you can see, not much is wrong with the outside of the truck. You know, I did hit a piece of rebar. I'll show you that real quick. I caught a piece of rebar right there perfectly. And it was on one of those little concrete barriers. It hit dead on it. And I didn't see it. I didn't know it was going to be hanging out of the concrete barrier like a foot and a half. But I hit it. And like I said, this bumper's held up really good for an aluminum bumper. It didn't do too much damage, but obviously I don't like it. There's not really any fixing that. I can polish the bumper, but you're still going to see that little thing right there. I thought about putting those little lollipop lights right there, but I don't know. It seems like it's too high. You'd probably want it down here. But yeah, overall, and like, see that this hasn't started pilling yet, but you can see where it's going to. And then I did polish this tank a few months ago. I did one side, so I polished that. I polished the top of the steps. I polished the diamond plate, the tank, and the front wheel, which for 3 months old, I haven't even put hand polish on it lately. They stayed shiny pretty good. And so I also hit a deer back here and tore this all to pieces. Technically, I guess the deer hit me, but I ordered a new piece and had Freightliner paint it to match the rest of my truck. As you can see, the paint just chipped right off of this. I don't know if they're not sanding it before they paint it or what, but I'm definitely not happy with that. But let's go ahead and get it inside the truck and see what we're working with here. So, like you've seen in the first video, 2020 Freightliner Coronado. Oh, it's got about every gauge you want. One gauge that I do want that it doesn't have is the pyrometer, which tells you how hot the exhaust is. I think it's like 6 inches behind the turbo. And that's important when, you know, you have your truck tuned or pulling big hills. You don't want the temperature to get too high, which I don't have one of those gauges. I am planning on getting one, but with Freightliner, all they do is they ask you for your VIN number and they try to look it up on a computer. And they can never find anything that you want unless you just bring the part in, which I haven't took it back off to bring it in, but they're going to need that little S-pipe that comes off the back of the turbo, the exhaust side. So I'll bring that in, and I'm going to have my mechanic install a pyrometer, which I'll probably remove this clock since I never use it. And every time, you know, the batteries die in it, or, you know, it gets low and shuts off, the clock's never set right anyways. Plus it comes with, you know, that little clock up there, which is never set right in either. So I'll probably remove that, put the pyrometer there. And I like to see my turbo boost, which they put down here. I'll probably move it up here and, you know, just move everything around, because you've got your 2 air tanks up there, which this truck's been sitting for almost a week right here, and it's only down to 60 psi, so that ain't bad. That tells you how much load you have on the drives, which I don't even have a trailer hooked up right now. I'm at the house, so, you know, it's pretty low. And this up here and this right here tells your brake pressure when you're actually applying the brakes. So maybe if I put those two together and put that one up there, you know, move the trans temperature down here somewhere with my drives. I was thinking about getting one with both of them, and then having both my drive temperatures right here, and or my diff right here, and then my trans temperature right here. Because sometimes when you're driving, which I didn't park the truck straight, so my steering wheel's crooked, but when you're driving, you can't really see those bottom ones. And the turbo and the pyrometer is pretty important. You know, you only need a glance at your axles every now and then. And then obviously all 3 of these are pretty important as well. And then your voltage, making sure your alternator or anything, you know, isn't going bad. So it's important to see that as well. So I think my only option is to add them up here. And then you've got all the gauges for, you know, your cruise control. This is to turn it on and off, and then this is to set it. You got your engine brake. You've got your dome light, your road lamps, which this truck did come with like your fog lights, but I took them off when I put this new bumper on. And then this is your marker interrupt. It's pretty much your thank you lights. And then this is how you turn your lights on and off, and marker lights. And that's your windshield wipers, which a lot of people have problems out of those. It doesn't seem like it's too expensive to fix it. So mine's starting to act a little funny on the bottom one, but overall it ain't hurting nothing right now. But once it does, I'll get rid of that and put a new one in. And this down here is to show you how bright your panel lights are when you're driving at night. Your footwell, it's got the red lights down in the footing area. And then this is your mirror heat, your engine fan, which before I do a hard pull, I'll turn the engine fan on. And then your bunk override, just in case like you left your AC back there and it's freezing cold up here. It's got the lowering suspension. It's got the fifth wheel slide, and then let me set this back here so it's not dangling in the way. And then up here you've got your axle diff, your locking diff, so you know if you're stuck you can put that on, or if you're driving in a lot of snow or anything. And then you know, it just comes with the plain Jane radio, which is perfect. You know, I Bluetooth it to my phone. And then, you know, standard AC controls. Now these two cup holders, I've told you all in the past, I can't stand them. Just the other day I put a completely full coffee in there, and as soon as I pulled out of the truck stop, that thing fell and it just destroyed my floor. But I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the smell of it. It actually it was a nice surprise, but I ended up getting it up pretty quick. And obviously you can see this little holder right here, I don't know what it's for, but it's perfect for quarters, because I just hit the toll road in West Virginia, so I got a ton of quarters. Sorry about that, shut my door. You got a little vanity mirror up here, you know, all the good things. Just a standard little horn. I've got a Cobra 29 in it right now, and I didn't want to drill into my truck anywhere, so I've just got the lines for my external speaker ran up into the top part and over into there. It seems to be working pretty good. I'm on paper logs, but I got this RAM mount right here, which I used to have electronic logs if you've seen the first video, and that's why I got that big hole right there. But I've got paper logs now, and I just use them on here on the Keep Trucking app, and that's how I do my paper logs. So that's about everything up here. I think I have 384,000 miles on it, which I'll crank the truck up here in a second and let y'all know for sure. But it's got like 380,000 miles. I've had it for, if I got it in January, it's October now, so I've had it for a little over 2.5 years. The truck's been good to me. I haven't had any major issues. One thing that has happened is, while it was still under warranty, I think one of my first trips out, my turbo went. And, you know, that's continuously been a problem. So I've ended up with like 4 turbos on this truck, maybe 5 by now. But as soon as it went out of warranty, I bought the Pittsburgh Power one. And I kid you not, it lasted 2 weeks. And I had to take it back, which I won't be buying anything else from Pittsburgh Power just because they did not honor the warranty on that. They said, oh, I must have, you know, passed something through it. My truck probably needed an overhaul or something, or, you know, they just keep saying that something else happened other than just my turbo going out, which nothing else happened. I was back on the road after calling somebody else that uh, sells turbos. He got me a turbo in right away. It's built way better, and I've had it on the truck for probably right at 80,000 miles now, and no issues whatsoever, and it pulls amazing. So I did end up getting a manifold, exhaust manifold as well when I got the turbo from Pittsburgh Power. So I've got the full tilt manifold with the upgraded turbo, and I haven't had any problems with it. Like I said, I'm not sure what my temperature is, but I'm running it how you're supposed to. You know, with these 12.7s, you don't want to bog it down too much, and that's because that's when you create a lot of heat in the head, is what people tell me. But I'm not a mechanic. I just, try to listen to as much as I can and make sure I'm doing what I need to keep this truck running. I do all my oil changes. I do between 15 and roughly 18,000 miles. I'll do an oil change on it myself. I'll grease the truck, and I do little things like putting new shocks on it. I actually installed the last turbo myself. I haven't had any problems. The hardest part about putting a turbo on is that that oil drain that comes off the bottom of the turbo and goes back in to recirculate your oil. That thing is hard to actually get to seat good. But after like probably an hour of fiddling with it, I finally got it perfect, and it's on, and I haven't had any problems. So let's go ahead and get into the back of the truck and show you what I've changed. Obviously, y'all can see this air conditioning unit, which is I found that on YouTube. A lot of people were doing like generators and an air conditioner for summertime, but a lot of people are getting like the 5 and 8,000 BTU one, and they're like, it's pretty good until it gets into the 90s. Well, if I'm in the truck and I've got all this extra weight on me anyways for the generator and the air conditioner, I want to be cool. I want to be cold. I want to be able to sleep in the middle of the day. So I went with I think it's 13,500 BTUs. I've just got a little Predator generator I normally carry with me, but it's being October, I took it out of the truck because I just don't need it right now. But it actually works really well. You can be parked at 95 degrees in a truck stop with the hot asphalt all around you, and I can sleep comfortably with a blanket on in the truck, which I like to sleep with a blanket. I like to be cold enough to need a blanket. So that's working perfectly. And that little generator, I think it's the 2500 Predator, is perfect for this unit. It doesn't kick off. It gets 8 to 10 hours constantly of run time. So it's working perfect. And I probably have $1,400 in it. Now, the reason I didn't go with an APU is because I had one on my first truck and the second truck I bought, and both of those kept going down on me. And every time I got it maintenance, $200, $300, $400. Well, with the Predator generator, I can just take it in and hand it back to Harbor Freight, and they'll give me a brand new one, no questions asked. The only thing I would need is to repurchase the warranty. Now, however, my very first generator from Harbor Freight, it worked for about a week and a half, and then everything started falling apart. But I was keeping it on the catwalk. Now I keep it in my passenger floorboard because it has like a vent so you can shut off the gas. So I don't smell any gas fumes or anything like that. And I've got, when I'm running it, I usually carry it to the back underneath the trailer where the spare tire is, and I'll lock it to my spare tire. And I've never had a problem with it. I don't hear it. It's not shaking the truck. And like I said, it cools the truck perfectly. So for $1,400 and pretty maintenance free, other than, checking the oil, changing spark plugs, stuff like that, it seems to be working great, and I have no complaints about it. So that's why I went with that. And if you want to see more of it, I'll make a video about just the air conditioner and the generator. Now, this air conditioning unit does have heat as well, which is another benefit. Just in case, I don't want to run the bunk heater for any reason. I've got that as a secondary, but I'll probably end up taking it out for the summertime, or for the wintertime, excuse me. But we'll see about it. I haven't took it out yet. I might want to try the heat. I'm not sure. And then I put it up there. A lot of people are putting it in their passenger seat or passenger floorboard, but I didn't want it there because they just stick it out of their window. And I feel like if I drive with that window open, where is it? There it is. Yeah, if I drive with that window open, I can't really hear it much. And I can keep those hoses because it came with two. Everybody on YouTube said the one hose systems don't really work as good. So I bought one with two, and I just stick them out that window, and it doesn't let any water in. You don't have to keep fiddling with it if you're at the truck stop. So all I do is take the generator out, walk back there, lock it to my trailer, and I crank it up, and it works perfect. And then I've got the extension cord already set up. So as soon as I plug it in, as soon as I start it and plug it in, this turns on. And I've got a little remote control where I can set the temperature, which I usually keep it right at 60. And then you don't have to drain it. It came with a drain hose. I guess sometimes it could get too full, but I haven't had to worry about draining it yet. They say it reuses it for like I guess the dehumidifier or humidifier or something like that. So it's a pretty good unit. And now if we come over here, I took that shelf out and I installed a fridge. So we'll go back there and take a look at that. All right, so this is a pretty large fridge for inside of a truck. I measured it before I bought it, and it gave me right at, probably 2 inches clearance in between there. I went with this one from Best Buy, I believe. And the reason I did was because it had the largest freezer, which a lot of them had a big fridge, but, just one of those little tiny freezers that go inside of here. Well, also everything's out of it right now. I'm at the house, so I've got that inside getting washed. But it works perfect. It holds a lot of stuff. And if you're doing 2-week trips, you really need that freezer unless you're going to stop on the way and pick up more food. But I can keep pretty much all my second week's worth of food up here. And then down here, I'll keep my first week. So it's always ready to go. I can just pop it out, put it in that microwave I have. Now, I've seen people on YouTube, they've got microwaves that fit where you don't have to take it out, which is what I want. However, it's I bought one for like $200 and it didn't heat right out of the box. So I ended up having to take that back, and I just bought one of these. Actually, my brother-in-law gave me this. They had an extra one. So I take it out right now, but like I said, I want to change that. I found one on Amazon, but now I can't find it anymore. And it would fit perfectly in there. So that's what I need next. I keep in odds and ends up here. I've got like a box of silverware so it doesn't spill back there. Some masks, since everybody still requires. Some people require it, some don't. And I keep all my important paperwork in my binder up here. So if you ever get pulled over, you got this little binder I made, 2020 Freightliner Coronado, with my last 6 just for that truck. Like I said, the external speaker comes up here. I've got that and some extra light bulbs up there. All my sheets are out of the bed right now, or out of the truck right now, getting washed as well since I'm at home. Everything back here seems to be good. And if you look at my first video, I was complaining that this was installed wrong, where I went ahead and put it in the right way. So now I can actually use it while I'm back here instead of having to walk all the way around to the front. Simple enough, you need like I think an 8mm and a screwdriver or a drill. You just remove those, and I think there's 8 total. Yeah, 4 on each side, and you just remove those and put it in the back, or change sides and then put it back on. Here's this remote that I bought, or that came with the AC unit, so you can adjust your AC temp and everything without getting up. Yeah, as you can see, it goes down to 61, and so I usually keep it at 61 and keep the AC on full blast. And I carry enough blankets in here to to keep me good. I've got a little coffee maker, which, yeah, I was actually messing with stuff today. My fridge actually used to open the other way, and I was contemplating changing it, so I went ahead and changed it just because when I'm back here cooking, I don't want to have to like stand up and move around to get it. I can just open it up and go. But when you're driving, you can reach this no problem and grab a drink out of down here. So that's why I had kept it. But yeah, down here I've got a coffee maker, my coffee grinds. And then this is kind of like my kitchen area. I've got some couscous, some rice, ramen noodles. You know, you can't go anywhere without your Texas Pete. And then I've got some baggies of my coffee filters and, you know, some seasonings in there. And they say if you're going to run a gas generator to have a carbon monoxide detector. But since I put it under the trailer, I don't feel like it's that big of a problem since it's so far away. But I do have the carbon monoxide detector mounted in here. I'll show you that now. So I've got it right here next to where my head is, just so it's always, you know, visible, and it will go off if, you know, it detects too much carbon monoxide, and it's in a good spot since it's right next to my head. And then sometimes I'll move my tablet back here to watch Netflix, and this is actually one of those little cup holder things, and it actually works really good. And you got the controls back here for, you know, your heat and AC if the truck's on, which I used to idle it quite a bit, but now that fuel's super expensive, I try not to. Now, this is another problem that I've had with this truck, and technically every Freightliner I've ever drove. The buttons will pull through this, and then you can't close it. See, so the button, both sides, is still stuck on here, so that won't close. I mean, obviously, I don't have it closed all the way. But like that one, there's another one stuck up there. So it still closes pretty good. And I'm thinking about like maybe gluing some magnets to it, kind of like my International had. It had a magnetic one, magnetic strip all around it, and you just magnetized it to it. I feel like that's the best method. These, you know, and it's happened on both sides. It's kind of annoying, but like, yeah, all the way down this side has ripped out. And you can be as gentle as you want to be, but they always break. And then this one comes with the back door, which is nice when you're loading and unloading groceries or clothes or whatever you have that needs to be put into the truck after you know, when you're loading up to leave or whatever. I'll just open that door from the outside, throw everything inside, and then I'll come in and put it where it needs to go. The cords, I keep really long cords just so I can reach the back without having to move them. But, you know, so that kind of always looks messy. And right now I have it unplugged because I was cleaning. And yeah, that usually goes under the bunk. But yeah, that's the inside of the truck after 384,000 miles. So it's held up good. I don't have a lot of complaints. The seats, this seat did, in fact, the airbag pops out of the back now. It doesn't actually give you any lumbar support or anything. It just pops out of the back. So I'm thinking about switching these seats out with one another. Since they're identical, I just have to, you know, move the seat belt. But I'm going to buy some better seats eventually, because this one kind of does hurt my back. But other than that, yeah, I keep the top bunk down. I've just got some extra bottles and, you know, my jacket, which I think I'm going to put some command strips up here and hang all my jackets, like my rain jacket, my vest, and my normal jacket. Hang it right there, get it out of the way. But up here, I keep all my clothes, which it's probably unorganized right now. Down here, I've got a couple things for the camera, but I usually keep a printer in here. I've got a mobile printer, so I got my printer paper, and I'll put my laptop in there. And then up here, it's, yeah, like I said, not organized, but that's where all my clothes goes. Then my Q-tips and some extra toilet paper to blow my nose or whatever. Right here, I've kind of got some stuff sitting around, but that's where I put my CPAP machine. And I have that cord that runs from underneath my bunk. Oh, piece of rice. This cord runs from underneath my bunk where I have my inverter. So I'll go show y'all the inverter and my side boxes right now, but they're, you know, like anybody else's side box, probably not the best being clean. So you got the little pull cords right here. So on this side, I've got my inverter, my safety equipment, my triangles, and my fire extinguisher. And then on this side, I keep my tire gauge, my air hose that hooks into your glide hand, and my jumper cables. I also have some diesel treatment sitting in here right now, but that's for when I change my fuel filters. I refill it with the clean diesel additive, so you know you don't run it dry or anything. But yeah, let's get back to this. So this is a, what is it, a Jupiter. You can get them at Harbor Freight. Now, a lot of people don't like Harbor Freight stuff because, you know, they think it's going to break or let them down. I've actually had this since I started trucking 6 years ago, and it's still running great. I think it's 6,000 watts, but 3,000 continuous. And, you know, it's got like a little power level right there, which I haven't even ran this at half before, but I've got it straight into my battery box, which is underneath my steps. And I've got it drilled up through here. And then I've got a inline fuse. So the fuse will go before my inverter. And like I said, I've had no problems out of that whatsoever. I did have to change the fuse out once because I tried to run that AC off of it. Now on this side, I've just got a bunch of tools. My fuel filter, Davco fuel filter. I've got a box of sockets, which are Matco brand, which that's probably the most common tools I use, that and my drill that you've seen inside. And, you know, for electrical, you need your butane torch. It's perfect for fixing lights or whatever you have out. And then that Hurd bumper, it came with this style lights, which I haven't seen any other brand that comes with those because it comes through that little screw hole. But they have been giving me a lot of problems, so I keep having to put new ones on. And I keep one in the truck at all times just so I know what it is. And then obviously I keep my straps and stuff like that in there. And then in here, I keep a fuel can for my generator and some cleaning supplies and like a little milk crate in there. And then I have another toolkit in here. It's like one of those 300 pieces from Harbor Freight. I plan on making a video about that, like what tools I keep in my truck as an owner-operator to, you know, get me out of most situations. And honestly, a lot of the work that's done on this truck now, that's not like major work, I can do myself. I've also got a mechanic buddy that comes over and he'll, you know, he'll do it at the house for me, and he'll show me what I'm what I need to do and how to fix it for whatever problems I have in the future. But overall, the truck's been great. I've had, let's see if I can think of everything. I've had, I think, the back of the engine that was leaking at one point. I forgot what they called it, but it was where like the transmission and the engine kind of hooked together. It was leaking oil once, so they fixed that under warranty. So yeah, pretty much since the warranties went out, I replaced that turbo, that manifold, and I had that output shaft seal that went out, and the air conditioning in the back. But other than that, everything else has just been like general maintenance. So I went ahead and had everything flushed at 300,000 miles. My engine, my transmission, my rear ends. And I did go with, I went ahead and put new tires on, which those Michelins that came with actually got me about 350,000 miles. So I was really happy about that. The ones I went with this time are the Continental HSL3 for the front, and it's called HDL2 in the rear. And so far they've been doing really good. I went with the 11R 22.5s just because they have more ply in them, and I'm tired of my steer tires. They always go out of round. So those Michelins I had on the truck, the rears last me, 350. But I probably put 2 or 3 sets on the front, and I feel like it's just, the amount of damage in the road every time you hit these potholes, and all the bridges in America are great, that. But yeah, they were only lasting like 60 to 100,000 miles, maybe 125 on certain sets. And I was tired of it, so I went with the 11R 22.5 to see how they're doing, and right now they're doing great. It did mess with my my gauges a little bit going with the bigger tire, so I had to get that fixed as well. But let's go ahead and pop the hood and I'll show you what's underneath it. All right, so when I put the new turbo and the new exhaust manifold on, I went ahead and went to, I set my computer off and got it tuned to 650 horsepower, and I took it to the guy that they said was the best, which I can't complain about the truck. I think the truck runs amazingly. It's never pulled like it does now. And I've drove a lot of different trucks, and this one by far has the most pulling power out of all of them. It doesn't smoke a lot. It's a nice clean tune. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the engine and what I have. All right, I don't know if you can see really from this angle, but it's the 12.7 Detroit Series 60. Came stock with 500 horsepower. Like I said, I bumped it up to 650. I've got that new turbo on it. I got the new exhaust manifold, and that's about all I've done inside, and it's working great. I also went to changing my air filters every 3 months, just because I felt like it was I'm gonna get better results out of it. Oh, this herd bumper has the springs on it, and it's quick release, so you just pull that little thing and it falls down, no problem. It's super easy to get it back up. I mean, I'll be changing the Davco fuel filter in the morning. I'll be doing that and doing another oil change on it. Like I said, the oil gets changed every 15 to 18,000 miles, even though everybody's telling me I'm doing it too early. But how else are you going to find the problem if you're not taking it out and looking at your oil, Like, I'd rather see it early than wait till the last minute. Then I have all these metal shavings in my engine. But yeah, I've got the 12.7, I've got a 13-speed manual, and I believe it's 342 rear gears. Now, my buddy, he has the same tune, same turbo, same engine. I think he switched his to an 18 speed instead of the 13. And I think he had 355s. And you can tell a slight difference pulling the hills. But overall, mine's right there with him. And I think, if I went with, 355s or something a little steeper, then I could get a little bit more speed going up hills and, pulling mountains and stuff like that. But I really think like this is the perfect setup. I feel like it's faster than any company truck you're going to drive. I'm getting way better fuel mileage. So I was getting around 5.5 to 6 when I'm really pushing it, going 70, 75 miles an hour. And I've changed that to probably close to 6.5 to 7, depending on, how I'm driving. I take it real easy in Wyoming. I was talking to not a manufacturer. I was talking to some performance guys about turbos and all that, and seeing why I'm getting these issues that I am getting out of my turbos. And they said one of the worst things on turbos is pulling hard at a real high elevation. And, going through Wyoming, you're up 8,000-9,000 elevation. So I've been trying to watch that. And, I just take it easy. He said they want you to stay above 1,600 when you're pulling. That keeps your heat down. And they want you to, on those real steep climbs, go ahead and downshift 2 gears more than you think you would be able to get it up at. And that way, it just keeps your turbo from working as hard. But yeah, that's about the whole truck. That's everything I can think of to tell y'all. If y'all have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll address them. But overall, I'm really happy with the truck. The main concerns, like I said, was the turbos originally. I don't really like the paint chipping, but I think that's just part of driving in the Northwest. I don't really like this trim that's on the truck. Anything chrome plate, it's going to chip off. I showed you that, but I didn't show you this. So that's just more of the chrome plating. Anything chrome plated on the truck is going to chip. And like I said, I found the stainless steel replacements. That's what I'm going to go with next. So yeah, that was about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I'll get to them, or I'll make a video about them. I got some videos coming up that I want to do with like what tools I carry in the truck and what tools I have in my shop. Things like that to help some owner operators out, especially if you haven't been doing it for a while. And maybe some tips and tricks on things I do to keep my truck running and keep it in good shape. Maybe some of the products I use to clean it and keep it clean. Because when you're doing, 3,000 to 6,000 miles a week and a half, then you're going to get it dirty, and it's good to keep them cleaned up. I've also, I've been learning how to polish off of YouTube videos and, just reading articles and things like that. So I've learned how to polish really good. I haven't actually used that knowledge on my own truck yet. I've been doing it on everyone else's. So I've already did like 3 trucks in the last month and a half, which it pays really good. I help them make their trucks look good. So now it's going to be time for me to get busy on my truck. I haven't started yet because I know this bumper is going to take probably all day sanding it down. I'll sand it down and then, polish it with the grinders. And then the wheels are actually really simple. I can make videos showing you like how quick that is, especially if you have like a wheel stand or something to put it up on and rotate it. That's super simple. Even with the sanding process, it doesn't take much time at all. And then the tanks aren't too bad. My main problem is diamond plate. I have not got to where I can do diamond plate really well. But the more I learn, the easier it's going to be in the future. So if y'all like this video, leave a like and please subscribe, and I'll keep making more videos like this. I know it's been a while since my last one, but hopefully that changes. And thanks for watching, especially if you made it this far, and have a good day.